roughly 60 millibars, and that's an incredible rate of intensification. For those who don't know what millibars is, just a measure of pressure in a different way, and it got down to 915 millibars, which is quite low. Um, and this is a visible satellite loop of Erin as it went through its intensification yesterday. See the small eye right here, incredible right here. And I'm gonna make sure my pen works here. I don't know what happened to it. There it is. So see how small the eye was right there. I can't draw on it, unfortunately. Anyway, this thing's a pain in the butt. But you see how small the cyclone was, and it had made a bead due west pretty much. It took a jog to the south for a little while, then started going back west northwest here towards the end of the visible loop and overnight. You can see first light images coming in this morning, but that's incredible. Um, the eye was down to 6 miles in diameter, which is very small. And cyclones that get that intense, they undergo what you call eyewall replacement cycles, which what happens is the cyclone gets so intense that and really inner dynamics aren't really understood when exactly this will happen. But usually intense cyclones go through these multiple times, um, where the inner eye wall erodes, the outer eye wall gets stronger, the cyclone expands in size, loses some strength temporarily, and sometimes will re-intensify as a larger cyclone because the wind field expands when the inner eye wall is dissipates, because all that momentum is trapped in that inner eye wall is spread out to the outer bands, which causes the wind field to expand, which of course gives more energy to the outer rain bands. And then those contract and form new eye wall, and eventually sometimes they re-intensify, which Erin has the potential to do today, but probably not quite as rapidly as yesterday, depending if it gets organized again or not. This is mostly recent infrared satellite loop. Don't have a visible loop yet. See, it's still moving, at least on a in recent images here. This from Tropical Tidbits. Infrared satellite loop. I'm showing really cold cloud tops surrounding the partial eye here. It still hasn't completed, from what I can tell, the eye wall replacement cycle. And you can look at that with this morphed integrated microwave imagery, shows the structure with the eye wall being present, and then the outer eye wall trying to take shape here. And but still the remnants of an inner eye wall still present as this last image here. You see it right there. I know my pen isn't working, but maybe you can see my cursor. um, so sometimes it takes a long time for these to complete eyewall replacement. Sometimes it's pretty quick. You see the huge moat around and that's what you call it, a moat, like later winds, a double double eyewall structure, even a triple here, different bands there. So that's that. Here's the Google AI model guidance, along with the arrow showing potential tracks of the system. There's Bermuda, east coast of the U.S. The tracks have shifted further west slightly over the past 24 hours. And this was something we're going to talk about too, maybe in another video, or maybe this one about potential another tropical system developing in the Caribbean. You can see they want to develop tropical storms out here um, in the next week or so. So you see the tracks for all these models, ensembles, graph, experimental, and observed. Let's look at the observed, where the observed has been. So it's a category 3 right now, just to the northeast of the British Virgin Islands. These are different models and where they think it'll go. European, some has some members that are a few members that are further west and further east, but no direct impacts to Bermuda or the continental U.S. However, we could see some possibly outer rain bands impact maybe the outer banks here with some winds from the north. And probably the bigger threat, I would say, is for Bermuda if it tends to move towards the right more. We're just kind of going to have to see what the eventual track of the system is. The longer it goes to the west and longer it takes to make that turn, then the potential for going further west is higher, but still the potential of hitting the United States in direct hit is very low right now. So sorry about my screen. My video card is acting up this morning. So this is the latest Super-Ensemble output for the, turn this off, showing the latest information about where the system is. This is the track density, 250-kilometer, tightly clustered here for uh, the different um, ensemble mean, ensemble members, and the three main big players with the models, European, American, and CMC. Wants to really jog it to the right quite quickly here, which I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. It still doesn't appear to be doing that. It's actually south of this position right now, at least from what I can tell. And this was initialized as 00Z, which we should have another run coming in at 12Z, which is a couple hours from now. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I had the wrong forecast hour on here. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. Moving the model through time here. You can see the ellipse, which depicts all the different area where the models end up. And then you have the little cloud surrounding it showing where the different other outliers are. And the different colors here indicate the different models. And you can see the CMC wants to go to the left. European a little bit further to the right, and GFS is further to the right with a quicker recurvature, which I'm not sure if the GFS is might be a little out to lunch on this turn here. We'll just have to see. And look back at this. It appears that this is 10Z, that the hurricane is still further south than the models depict. So I have a feeling they're going to have to adjust the track a little bit further westward in the next update. That being said, let's look at the trend of models. And you can see what's happened here as we're going through time. The overall ensemble mean trend has been to the left. You could see the UCMET, CF, CMC, GFS, and EPS all the stronger, like the different runs indicate the different colors here. So the 816, most recent run, furthest to the south, but the track is still to the south of it. So the sensible impacts to the Turks and Caicos and these islands out here are greater as long as it stays to the south here. That being said, let's see what kind of warnings we have out for the you have this on the fly, I apologize. Tropical storm warning, tropical storm watch for the Bahamas. And you can see the wind field is a little bit not quite symmetric. Looks like a little bit of southwesterly wind shear, but not a lot to disrupt the circulation. But you can see where the hurricane force winds are and the tropical storm force winds are. So if you look at the 34 knot, which is tropical storm force possibilities based on this latest advisory, you see where the highest chance of having those sustained winds 100% towards the center, and we move out towards the Outer Banks and the Bahamas here. You still have a small chance of having tropical storm force winds um, as it passes by in the coming days. 50 knots, which is like 60 some miles an hour. That's the cone. It's a lot smaller, of course. So even the models aren't predicting a lot of more than tropical storm force winds in the Bahamas here, and hurricane force winds. It's hard to predict further out, but not predicted to impact any landmass, really, hurricane force winds. So the earliest arrival, the most likely arrival of tropical storm force winds, like Bahamas tomorrow maybe, and possibly along the Bermuda and Virginia, North Carolina coastline, maybe Wednesday 8 p.m. Of course, that may change a little bit based on further model guidance and track, but um, this is what is expected to be a major hurricane up until it reaches North Carolina. I mean, off the southeast coast, and then curve to the right here. And this is another way to look at the current track here. See if I have a most recent run. Yeah. Category 3, right to the north of the Lesser Antilles. Future track here, 145 mile an hour, expected to grow in size and weaken some as it curves to the north here. This is a National Hurricane issued track guidance. This is another way to look at the ensemble guidance for the storm. The European, American, CMC, all the big players here. This is a super ensemble. Ensemble mean is in the black hair, and you can see tightly clustered agreement. Of course, you get out a couple days, still quite a bit of spread here, but really none of the members want to hit a landmass directly. But given the amount of spread we have this far out, I think it's worth just keeping an eye on where it eventually goes, but chances, like I said, of hitting landmass are quite low. And this is I showed you this the other day, that there's a ship's forecast for Erin, which indicates it's a model that tries to um, simulate whether or not the system will rapidly intensify. Looks like low chances, really, um, as of right now. It'll probably intensify again as it goes to the north here. But you can see the wind shear increases a lot when you reach 120 hours as the sea surface temperatures get lower and relative humidity gets lower in the atmosphere. Also, the heat content is lower and chances for intensification are a lot less then. So this is one way to represent the vortex and the what's steering it here. Where you can see, excuse me, big trough over Quebec, Canada. Another low develops here, goes to the east, and high pressure wants to build back in here just to the north and east of Erin. And that's probably what's preventing it from moving any faster initially to the north here, and maybe what the track shift west is doing here. Excuse me, clear my throat, but my having some allergy issues this morning. So high pressure apparently has been stronger than anticipated here, keeping the system further west than originally anticipated. This is another way to look at the wind profile of the system as it moves through the flow here. This is one of the hurricane models. You see how it expands in size, still with far offshore here, latest runtime. Still want to be a very powerful cyclone out here in the open Atlantic. Let's look at the rip current forecast here. There's Erin. Rip currents are very sneaky, and as a cyclone moves through an area, rip currents along the beaches can kill people that you can't see them, and they'll take you out to sea. So stay out of the ocean if you're in these areas that are warned, please. You can watch it. Just stay out there till the storm passed by. As you move into tomorrow, rip currents risk increases all along the east coast of the U.S. as Erin gets closer. And wave height also increases as Erin gets closer along the beaches. So they run hand in hand. The waves are going to get quite high all along the east coast of the U.S. in the coming days. This is a moisture field surrounding Erin. It doesn't seem to want to ingest much dry air over the rest of the period till it moves out to sea, eventually becomes extratropical as it moves in the North Atlantic. Anyway, Erin has been an amazing thing to watch, and I'm just glad it hasn't really impacted land that much, other than some, some effects on the outer bands from the different islands. we'll continue to watch it today, and hopefully it'll continue staying out to sea and not give us any surprises. And that's what I think is going to happen, but it never hurts to keep an eye on stuff. I'm going to do a separate video for the potential tropical development out in the Atlantic in the next 7 days, just so I can separate the two videos. If people don't want to watch this, they can watch that. They don't have to watch this whole thing just to get to the other part. But thanks again, and I hope you have a great day.